Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Tuesday, March 28, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money, and if you are interested in props and parlay picks, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link to our Patreon and to our new channel in the description and comments section below. North Texas versus Wisconsin. If the chalk in the NIT Final Four holds, we will have an All-Conference USA final in this tournament, with UAB laying 3 points against Utah Valley. That would be quite a fitting end for a March Madness season that has featured the little guy in terms of smaller conference schools going far. North Texas played a role in that story with a 65-59 win over Oklahoma State as 4-point underdogs last round. It was the third straight opponent in the NIT that has failed to score 60 points against this North Texas defense, a unit that ranks in the top 25 in AJDOM KenPom. The Cowboys even had 5 extra minutes to crack the 60-point mark and couldn't do it, as the OT win put the Mean Green in this game. 7 of the last 8 opponents North Texas has faced haven't hit that 60-point mark, and the only one to do so in that span was also the only team to beat North Texas in that span, UAB. The Badgers reached this point by knocking off the Oregon Ducks by a score of 61-58 the last time out. Wisconsin's known for their defense too, but it was only the first time they've held a NIT opponent to under 60 points. Wisconsin won that game despite shooting 33% from the floor as well, as Oregon's mistakes, 4-for-12 from FT line, played a major role in the Badgers advancing as well. I do believe North Texas will add to that growing list of conquests for Conference USA this postseason. Wisconsin may believe they've got a talent edge and be plenty comfortable in that slower-paced game that UNT wants to play, but the fact is, North Texas has done it better all year long. The Mean Green ranks 70th and 22nd in AJO and AJD respectively on KenPom, whereas Wisconsin sits at 132nd and 23rd. These are very similar teams defensively, but it's North Texas who is more trustworthy offensively, and it's probably by a wide margin. With the total where it is in the sub-120 range, every possession is going to be critical on both ends. North Texas has an offense that is more likely to execute in those key moments. The Mean Green are also 16-11 at TS this year off a win with an average margin of victory of plus 7.6 in those games. Throw in an 18-11 at TS record as a favorite with an average margin of victory of plus 10.7 in that role, and I think we get another great outing from the Mean Green. There is a strong argument out there that Wisconsin shouldn't even be here after that Oregon game, but facing this North Texas defense is not a spot where I'd expect much improvement from Wisconsin's attack. You've still got to score more points than your opponent to advance, and I just can't trust the Badgers to do that more often than not. Our team pick is North Texas minus 1.5 points. 2 great defenses is the headline for anyone looking to bet this total, and with the numbers already built into this mid-110s total, that hasn't really moved much despite being up for days. That idea alone suggests there is resistance to the obvious underplay, and in a lot of ways it makes sense. The number could be shaded to low for some, but the deciding factor for me in going the contrarian route is the tight point spread that suggests OT and/or late fouls are quite likely. You get a game script where one side can start a small parade to the free throw line in the final minute, as they constantly stay ahead 1-2 possession. It's not long before you look up, and 10+ points have been scored in under a minute. Those runs late in games are deadly for under players, and can be tough to avoid in games where the spread is in that pick'em range. Add in a very low total deserved with these 2 defenses, but a low number in general, and these 2 teams could creep over this number by accident a lot of the time. Wisconsin is 9-8 OU this year as an underdog of any number, and for a team that's been 17-17 OU overall this year, this would be a positive over spot in that regard. These 2 teams could end up not reaching 50, but a lot still has to go right defensively for that to be the case. In a close game where we could see a flurry of points late, I'll take my chances that the winner gets to 60. Our total pick is over 115.5 points. Utah Valley versus UAB. The Wolverines have looked exceptional in their run, beating the likes of New Mexico, Colorado and Cincinnati by an average margin of 11.3 points per game. In their win over Cincinnati, they shot 45.5% overall and scored 36 of their points in the paint. Utah Valley was banging down low, out-rebounding the Bearcats 46-40, while blocking 5 of their shots as well. Cincinnati did tie the game, 41-41, early in the second half, before the Wolverines regained control until the end. On the year they are by far the best blocking team in the land, averaging 6.6 watts per game, a whole block more than the next team. Their offense has put up 77.1 points per game, shooting 46.6% from the field, and 33.5% from 3 for the season. In 5 postseason games, including the walk tournament, the Wolverines have averaged 79.6 points per game on 51.4% shooting overall. Utah Valley has allowed 68.1 points on defense for the season, keeping opponents at 38.9% shooting from the field, the 5th best mark in the country, and 30.4% from 3. They are 6th in the country with 40.1 rebounds per game. The Blazers had comfy wins in their first 2 games, beating Southern Miss by 28 and Morehead State by 22. Vandy proved a much tougher test, but UAB was able to turn around a tough first half performance to come back and win. Hitting just 8 field goals, the Blazers shot 25.8% overall in the first half. They doubled their makes in the second half, and were much steadier shooting with a 48.5% shooting effort. In a game featuring many misses, NCAA was able to get a slight edge on the boards, out-rebounding Vanderbilt 47-46. That is the Blazers' forte, averaging 41 rebounds per game on the year, the second most in the country, but only 0.9 more than their opponent on Tuesday. The 81.1 points per game that the offense has averaged is 10th best in the country, though they shoot just 45.5% overall. In their 3 NIT games, they've averaged 77.3 points per game, while shooting 45.3% overall. The Blazers' defense has given up 69.9 points per game on the year, allowing opponents to shoot 41% from the field, and 31.6% from 3. UAB also ranks 43rd in the country with 8.1 steals per game, and 45th with 4.3 blocks per game. In their lone meeting 4 years ago, it was Utah State the victors, 66-55, winning ATS as plus 7.5 underdogs on the road. That may seem like a bit of ancient history at this point, but there were a couple of players in that game who will play a part in Tuesday's affair. Woodbury started in that game for the Wolverines, shooting 0 for 3 for 0 points and 2 rebounds. The Blazers also have a holdover from that game in Tavin Loven, who started and played 33 minutes, scoring 10 points. Both teams have extremely strong facilitators at the point, and both are bangers down low. Utah Valley has a bit of a size advantage, and they play in the mold of their head coach, former NBA big man Mark Madsen. Sophomore center Aziz Bandaogo is a monster down low, averaging 10.2 rebounds, 12th most in the country, and 2.9 blocks per game, 4th most. The Wolverines are scoring above their season average this postseason, and their shooting has been fantastic. UAB's offense has been down slightly from their season averages during this tournament. Utah Valley has been big on the line all year, going 24-9 ATS all season, and they are 5-1 ATS in their last 6 games versus a team with a record above .600%. I think this game comes down to the wire as these two teams are evenly matched. Our team pick is Utah State plus 3 points. This game features a pair of top half-tempo teams in top 50 offenses. Per KenPom rates Utah State is 112th in tempo and 16th in adjusted offense, and UAB at 37th in tempo and 44th in offense. Together they average 158.2 points per game for the season, and more recently the average is 156.9 points per in the postseason. They've had 38 games go over between them this season. Over the last 10 games, the Blazers have put up 85 or more on 5 occasions. The Wolverines have scored 81 or more in 4 of their last 6 games, and 72 or more in 7 straight. Both offenses have looked dismal at times in this postseason, and have still rallied back to put up big numbers. Neither of these defenses is standout, so both teams should get solid looks throughout, except maybe down low. The over is 4-1 in Utah Valley's last 5 games at a neutral site, per covers.com. Take the over.